Hey Sanya, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Welcome to Canopy Pod. First of all, I appreciate your time. I'm so curious to know about you and your startup as well.
Thank you so much for having me. And sure, I'm right here to answer everything that you've to ask about it.
I have like a lot of questions to shoot, but before slipping into the podcast, why don't you quickly explain about your startup, like what your startup Kavach does?
Sure. To begin with, I think I'll give like a brief introduction about myself, and then I'll move on introducing the startup that I've been working on for over a year. It's on the other side. I am 18 and I am a student entrepreneur while I'm pursuing my commerce major and economics minor from Delhi University. I've been working on a startup from a year. Its name is Kavach. We focus on edu-management and career guidance, and we provide it to high school students who are confused about choosing their career paths. And let's say in 10th, 11th, or 12th grades, either they are having troubles choosing the right stream or even the right course and the right college for themselves, right? And we make sure that they have to face like the least hurdles and obstacles while they're transitioning from high school to college. So we have different mentorship programs that we provide catering to the needs of high school students.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So it's an edu management consulting startup. Cool. That's
Yes.
amazing. I feel it's a great initiative because as a 10th or 12th grade student, like I did personally face many problems like which course to opt, like just इसमें scope होगा या इसमें होगा and stuff. And yeah, many friends of mine have chosen like either engineering or medicine. Maybe they were not aware of the career options. Like so, your startup bridges the gap between the career options and a student, so that's something to be proud of. And so tell me briefly, like how did you get the school idea and how did it basically started?
Right. Just to like put it out there, I think although it would be pretty clear already, but of course it was a personal problem. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that I wish if I had such mentorship programs available to me, it would be easy for me to make the right decision. Although at this moment, I'm very happy with the decision I made. But then that took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and that was mentally and emotionally taxing as well, considering no one likes uncertainty. Everyone likes to have a plan, right? To know what's coming ahead.
Yeah.
So I was that person too. But then because of the pandemic and a lot of other things, the college that was my top priority from a few years, uh, their admission process was pretty late. So I was uncertain about the course and the college and if I will get through that and everything that
Mm-hmm.
was happening around in the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I filled in for a lot of colleges and I got through almost all of them. And although I was happy about that, the con of it was I didn't know which college or course to opt for, which one was better for me, right? If I
Mm-hmm.
ask a person, they would probably tell me that, hey, A college is better than B. But then
Yeah.
no one would answer it as per on the basis of my interests, my goals, what I want to do next, and all of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's
Exactly.
very important to have that, and I didn't have that at my time. And the co-founder with me, Shisht, when I connected with him and we were having a detailed discussion about academics, colleges, we were both stuck in the same problem. Although we both overcame it after like a lot of time, we realized that this is such a big problem, and it's definitely not just the two of us. And there are a lot of high school students going through the same thing. Every year, every batch, there are a lot of people who do not know what to do, right?
Yes.
And even if they have some brief idea, they sometimes miss out on a few career options. Like you
True.
said that you have
Yeah.
a few friends in medicine or engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
a slight chance that they wouldn't know about all other career options they could be interested in and could have pursued,
Mm-hmm.
but they did not, right? Just because there was like I can say, let's say, lack of awareness. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I believe like startup has become such a cool term right now. Like every day, one or two startups are born in India, and we see some XYZ startup turning into a unicorn. And this makes me and many people think कि भाई अगर मैं like I will launch a startup, then पैसा ही पैसा होगा or something. Like as a co-founder of a decent startup and also a commerce freshman, like according to your experience, how is it to be an entrepreneur or a co-founder of a startup?
Well, I do get the fascination around the term entrepreneurship, startup culture. It's all booming these
Mm-hmm.
days. But that's what
Mm-hmm.
you see when you're looking at, let's say, the top companies which have reached a certain height, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this moment, you know about Kavach. But again, at the same time, I know there would be a lot of people who wouldn't know about it, which is fine,
Mm-hmm.
considering you've just started. But then the names that we
Mm-hmm.
hear now, like suddenly a few startups coming in the picture where everyone is hearing about them, you're,
Yeah.
getting to know about their funding updates and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to get there. And that's one thing
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand. It seems like you start one day, people will get to know you, people will come to you, they will pay for whatever that you're offering, and you'll be like, suddenly you'll become rich in like a few weeks or something. Not
Mm-hmm.
how it works. I've been in
Yeah.
this for a
Mm-hmm.
year now. Not how it works. There are a lot of challenges, and
Mm-hmm.
as so many people want to cover successful startup stories, they don't understand. And the number I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving is still like, not the exact number, but I think 20 out of 20, I think 18 startups would fail. Like out of 10, I think
Mm-hmm.
9
Mm-hmm.
would fail. So 90% is like a failure chance, which people don't look at because they just see the fascination around the term.
Yeah.
So, but although on one hand, being an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur is a different feeling altogether. Again, it's
Mm-hmm.
like a mixed emotion. You love the fact that what you're working on is your own, right? I think
Exactly.
that just gives you an incentive, a new motivation every day to get up and work on it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say if I'm working for someone else, although some people love to do that, amazing. But then, when it's your own, you want to put in daily effort and grow, like, working on something that you want to see growing every day is like is an amazing feeling. But then with it comes a lot of setbacks, a lot of small failures on a daily basis, which people don't see when they're starting out.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think when they're a few months into it, they realize that, hey, it's not that easy. So yeah, the mixed emotion around it.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like what it looks like, you know. Yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Inspiring. So yeah, I just wanted to know ki, like what's the essence of entrepreneurship from a student perspective? What's the
Mhm.
essence?
Okay. So, from a student's perspective, I would say it's a little different from someone who would be working on this startup full time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's something you're working on throughout the day. Being a student, if I just talk about myself, I have academics, I have a lot of extracurriculars in college itself, clubs,
Mm-hmm.
societies, and whatnot. When you're in college, you also, focusing on internships and this, building on skills, whatnot. You just want to, keep on building yourself because these years are very crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So doing something along with your college life isn't the easiest, and that's something I've realized
Mm-hmm.
firsthand. So that's definitely there. But then again, being a student entrepreneur gives you, I think, motivation and gives you like a whole new exposure and experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you personally develop a lot as well. Like I wouldn't know a lot about this same industry I have a
Mm-hmm.
startup now in, right? I didn't know that. I wouldn't know as much a year back.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I would learn about some new marketing strategy or tactic. I would get
Mm-hmm.
to know something that the customer would expect from us, but we're not able to give it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything along those lines. Like I think you personally develop a lot. Your skills, or obviously upscaling, and you're learning a lot. So that's that when you're a student entrepreneur. But again, the time constraints are there. For the same person who would be working on the same startup as I am, would be able to build it much faster if
Mm-hmm.
they are
Yeah.
not a student anymore and can give a lot of time, like full time to it.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So basically, I believe it holistically develops one person. मतलब he maybe
Definitely.
through entrepreneurship one can, enhance his critical thinking and stuff. So
Yes.
the next question is based on career counseling. So there are some common
Hmm.
misconceptions about career counseling. Like, as your startup is almost based on career guidance and counseling,
Mhm.
tell us what career counseling is not about. And
Okay.
like, a major misconception is that many people think it's a service that helps one like get jobs or admissions in companies and colleges respectively.
Mhm. Okay. One thing, and a lot of people might not agree to it, just putting it out there already, but that's what I personally believe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of career counselors and some career counseling agencies, which have been, set up from like a long while, they like to focus only on aptitude, which I personally am not in favor of. And I feel that's not what career counseling is about. Why? Because let's say my aptitude is too high, and in 10th, like while I am in 10th grade and I'm deciding my stream, right? Someone
Mm-hmm.
tells me, hey, you got a great score in 10th, right? And you seem to, have a lot of, you have like great aptitude when it comes to science and medical, right? And if I go for it 3, 4 years down the line, I realize this is not what I like. This is not what I
Mm-hmm.
want to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
While keeping the aptitude in mind as well, because you need to know if you can do it or not, I think
Mm-hmm.
interest and passion needs to be prioritized more than aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Okay.
I like something, I would want to do it for the next few years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But just because I am capable of doing something, but I don't want to do it, that won't work out in the long term when we're talking about career. That's like
Mm-hmm.
what I feel. That's one major misconception I see. Everything about aptitude, everything
Mm-hmm.
circling around it, not
Okay.
something I personally agree with. So that's one thing. Second, career counseling is more of guiding the person, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, there has to be individual effort from the student's point of view. Of course, when I would talk about as a co-founder of a startup which works in the same industry and focuses on the same things, we are trying our level best to help the student get into the college they want to get into, help them decide the course and things related to it. But then if a person is not able to get into it, that's like, I think it's like a mutual effort from both the counselors that are helping, the mentors that are helping, and the individual effort of the student as well. Because at the end of the day, they need to put in the effort to study, fill in the applications,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
all of those things in the admission
Mhm.
procedure that would come in.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
One more question, which is related to the previous one. Like, when and why do one need career counseling?
Um. Okay. I think everyone should take it just to be sure anyway, because when you're 17 or 18, you can't possibly decide that, hey, I'm going to limit all my life to this particular stream, this particular industry. And like, let's say if I am a commerce student, few years down the line, I wouldn't want to realize that, hey, I should have taken science, right? So it's a
Mm-hmm.
very crucial and critical decision. And in most cases, it can't, it like, there's no undo button, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it, like, a lot of things, if I've not taken as you know as my stream or as my subject, right, I can't pursue it a few years down the lane if I wish to,
Mm-hmm.
which is a major problem. Because at the age of 17 and 18 in this education system, we have to decide what to go further with, which is again not easy. And I don't think every student needs to make this decision that moment alone. So it's always better to go for career guidance and career counseling, considering there are people who will help you after understanding your needs, your goals, your inclinations, whatever that you have in mind. You can openly talk about your problem, and then you're not the one dealing with it alone. Uh, in most
Mm-hmm.
cases, when people are dealing with it alone without a career, mentor, then I would say they would be relying on their parents, their relatives, right? All
Yes.
of these people who wouldn't have possibly wouldn't be from their own streams, wouldn't know about
Mm-hmm.
things, would possibly be at least 35 years plus, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't know about the current education system. They don't know the rankings of colleges changing. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know the upcoming courses and upcoming fields, right?
Yeah.
A science, a non-med student does not necessarily should not necessarily just go for engineering, right? There are other options too now. So I think in all possible cases, one should take it. But even if you're 20% dicey about things, take it considering it's a major decision and affects, the later part of your life.
So yeah, uh, okay, got it. Like why it's important. It's like crucial thing. So moving on, as we know, branding and identity are key. Like they are so crucial. How did you advertise your service initially? Uh, and B, how marketing strategies plays a crucial role in almost everything, like selling a product or providing a service.
Mm-hmm. Okay. To start with, talking about marketing, even if you have the best goddamn product or service, which you think that would be very beneficial to your customer or the service available, uh, without marketing, you can't achieve it because you need you actually want people to know about your product and service, right? You want people to know what you're selling, what it is all about. So for that, brand awareness, brand positioning, marketing, all of these things are very important, right?
Yeah.
Considering, why do we know about Byju's right now? Because they invested a lot in marketing and advertising and putting out the word. Initially, that's what's required. Maybe then after there's word of mouth, right? Let's say you go to a good restaurant, you like food there, you like the ambience there, you come home, tell your friends about it. Then the word spreads. But then initially, for you to go to the same restaurant, you need to have heard about it. You need to know something about it. So you need some incentive to go there in the first place, right? That's how it works in every industry. Like I wouldn't say just for edu-management or career guidance, but whenever you're trying something new, not everyone is open to it. So you need to invest in marketing initially to, you know, tell the customer about whatever you're offering, what are the incentives, what are the USPs. So all of that is very important. Talking about Kavach itself, initially, of course, you do market surveys, you understand what your consumer wants. Because as much as I could say that, hey, I know about it because I was in the same, position a few months back, or like I would say now a year back. So I understand whatever they would want. But then you're not dealing with only one kid or two kids, right? When you're talking about running a startup and dealing with high school students. So talking to different high school students with different problems from different streams, from different regions is very important, right? So you understand what they would want. You need to understand the problem before you're putting out a solution for the same. So the first was like market surveys and then talking to as many high school students possible and talking to them about what they would want. If you provide this, would they be interested in, investing in the same? After that, while then we of course did beta runs and then, structured the program. So if that would actually work or not. So after that comes the position where we launched our product only to, it was again a beta run again, where we started with so we did initially a lot of free sessions and webinars for high school students with professionals, with toppers who could assist them in different ways. So we did that for entrances, for boards, for specific colleges. So when we did that, a lot of high school students joined. We were able to, of course, get that reach because of social media marketing initially. And once people joined in for that webinar, we told them what our product is and if they would want to avail it. And in our very first session itself, we got 8 enrollments, I remember specifically, which is a good number considering people did not even know about Kavach in the first place. So when they heard about it and when they got to know about the service, that, hey, this is what we do. And considering one of our major USPs is affordability, that's what, we want high school students to not spend thousands and thousands of bucks on just career guidance, and that's something that should be easily available to them, right? So one of our USPs is affordability. People loved the fact that we were providing so much in little if we compare it to the other industry, like other people in the same industry. So 8 people first session, we were happy. So we started on, structuring the program even more according to the needs of the students. So initially for a few sessions, we just did that. And then we would talk to our own startup mentors as well and other people from, big professionals from the industry to, know their 2 cents on our idea, on our product. So when we saw that, hey, this is working out, people are liking the idea, this is working out, this is actually going to help high school students, we launched it officially, where we focused on social media marketing, and we started spending on marketing and advertising in general, running ads and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. So in this process, I think I guess you have met a lot of people, I believe.
Definitely.
Yeah. So as Porter Gale, I guess she quoted that your network is your net worth. Like you have got the chance to learn and explore a lot, I believe. So how do you find this whole business networking thing? Like, what are the benefits of networking according to you? And one networking tip for the listeners.
Okay. How it has helped me, or how it generally helps. One, especially for a student like me who is still, new to this, or is trying to explore more, is trying to flourish in this field, I would want to know what the professionals in this field have been working, who have seen patterns and trends, who know the customer ideology better than I would know, right? So connecting with those professionals would give me a lot more insight. Now here I'm learning, right? For me, I'm connecting with someone who's a professional, who is a mentor to me. So that way I'm learning a lot. In other ways, networking goes both ways. Like me talking to you right now, I am talking about my startup. So here you are listening to it, and the people who hear this would get to know about my startup. At the end of the day, what am I getting to know? I'm getting to know about you and your own podcast, right?
Yeah,
So it goes
exactly.
both ways if you think about it. So not even I would say pitching, but then it somewhat becomes pitching. Sometimes it's about your personal brand, sometimes it's about your own startup or your company or whatever the case is, right? That, let's say if I'm a freelancer, then I would want to tell everyone that, hey, I'm a freelancer in this field, and the person networking with me would be telling them what they do. So, and like, let's say 3 months down the line, I want some person's help in that field, I would know I can reach out to that person for this help, considering you already had a few conversations with them. So networking was that way, where you're learning a lot. Sometimes you feel you're only restricted to your own experiences and learnings, but that's never the case. There's always scope for more learning, especially at my age, when I'm only 18, when I know there's so much in front of me. I think networking has been one amazing thing. I've connected with student mentors who have, come on board, who actually take a few sessions with high school students. I have connected with mental health professionals, considering we all focus on mental health of the students. I've learned a lot in that field recently. I've connected with, say, industry professionals, startup mentors, investors, and they all have a lot of things to offer. And I'm pretty sure even I would have been able to say something that could have helped them, right? So that's how networking goes.
Wow. So yeah, can you give
And
one?
I guess you also asked about one networking tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Network wherever you go. Like, you think sometimes you'd only when even if I talk about business networking, I think you can network even in one party or even in one pub if you do it the right way. Or let's say, I think you would have known about Clubhouse, right? I think I've networked a lot there. I've met a lot of people there. And then I remember in this one particular room on Clubhouse, I had to pitch myself and what I do in 30 seconds. I did that in 30 seconds. There were 4 people who came up in that particular room who were speakers, that, hey, connect with me. I think we can do something in future. Right now, I'm collaborating with 2 people out of those 4. Just because I spent 30 seconds introducing myself and my startup and what I do.
Wow.
So wherever you go, whenever you can, with your friends, with your parents, friends, I mean, wherever that you can.
So
it's
just
going to help you a lot. It goes a long way.
Okay. So just network with people. That's it. Wherever you go, like that.
Yeah, wherever and whenever. Yes.
Awesome. So actually, my next question was kind of related to networking itself, as we are seeing the rise of Clubhouse, which is like more sociological Discord, and it's totally audio based. Actually, FOMO bought me on Clubhouse because everyone was talking about it, so I got onto Clubhouse. So, what are the good and bad things that you encountered like on the app
Okay,
from the app?
so
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
remember a friend of mine asking me if I need an invite of Clubhouse in March. I did
Mm-hmm.
not know about the application, obviously. And he offered me the invite. I said my screen time is already too much and have so much things to do. I don't think I need another app. Just me, I would spend, 2 hours every day, 3 hours every day. Did not
Mm-hmm.
know about the application, so seemed like a good option to just reject that and say thank you for offering, right?
Yeah.
Then it was around May. I think the 22nd, if I'm not wrong, because considering it shows the nominated by and the date that you joined the app, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think 22nd of May, my friend sent me this invite and asked me to download the app. This is the time I've heard about the app once or twice, but did not know the intricacies of it or what it is about.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I joined the app because of that invite. Talked to the 3, 4 friends in the same group the first time, talked about what the app is, figured out about the application. Then I got to know how things work. When
Mm-hmm.
initially I joined, at least for good 10 days, the crowd there was amazing. Like I met some amazing professionals, some amazing
Mm-hmm.
clubs coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then came a little, then I would say one con of Clubhouse. A lot of people joined, considering, you said you joined because of FOMO. I think a lot of people did,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the app was upcoming, considering a lot of people joined, not all
Mm-hmm.
the clubs and rooms were productive or,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
related to actual networking.
Mm-hmm.
People also started treating it as Tinder in between.
Yeah.
Like I would see houses about such things too. Which
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, I can't say anything about it. If that's
Mm-hmm.
one way for other people to network,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But
Yeah.
I still feel that if you join the right clubs and rooms,
Mm-hmm.
there's scope for a lot of things. Like I was able to talk to Ranveer Allahabadi, if you know about the
Oh my
person.
God. Oh wow. Beer
So I
biceps.
think that
Yeah.
wouldn't have exactly be a biceps. And I
Wow.
wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise in Instagram or anywhere else, considering the app
Mm-hmm.
was still upcoming. Now again,
Mm-hmm.
he would also have like some 50K followers there. So again, not the easy to get in touch.
Uh-huh.
But initially, I think if you were
Mm-hmm.
on the app, you would have explored some opportunities. And every day
Mm-hmm.
I connect with people. I also write. So I have joined 2, 3 clubs
Writing
related to
clubs,
writing,
rooms.
and they would
Okay.
ping me in the room. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just recite, or maybe I would hear some great poetry. So I'm connecting with like-minded people who have the same interest. So not
Compelling.
just about my startup or business networking. I
Mm-hmm.
think you can
Mm-hmm.
network in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And if you do it the right way, Clubhouse is a great app.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel about it.
Great. I also think the same. I think one more con is privacy. It's kind of like if you are into some room, for example, if you are into a poetry room or something, then when you shift to another room, like everyone, like the friends of yours will get to know that, yeah, Sanya is speaking here, like join in. So kind of it disturbs some like privacy to some extent, I believe.
So I was having this conversation with a girl 3 days back, where I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about, hey, it's not the best idea that everyone gets notified if you have your
Mm-hmm.
notifications on whenever you're joining a club or you start speaking there. But now
Mm-hmm.
think about it that way, that let's say you're in this room with some amazing people, some amazing professionals, and I wouldn't know that until, like, I wouldn't have a dream about it, right? So let's say I
Yeah.
see you in one room and considering I follow you,
Mm-hmm.
I would automatically join that, and that can be helpful for me. So that is one way to look at it. Of course, the
Yeah.
privacy concern comes into place, but
Mm-hmm.
then it's a public platform. That's something they made clear from the very first day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I think the privacy concern, like a little bit of that is there if you don't want, people who follow you to see you
Yeah,
going in
yeah,
every club.
yeah. Yeah.
But I think maybe I am expecting that the feature like that would come, that you don't want to notify people. If they
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
see it on the main app, they can maybe
Mm-hmm.
find you. But I think they shouldn't be notified if you don't
Yeah.
want them to be notified.
Yeah, yeah.
On
This
House
should.
Party, they have this feature
Uh-huh.
that
Okay.
if you want to just switch off like the notification, that whenever you
Mm-hmm.
join, whenever you open the app, people won't get notified. You can just
Okay.
sneak
That's
in
cool.
directly.
That's something
So
cool.
I think
Yeah.
something like that would,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would come on uh Clubhouse as well, or maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping it does. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah. So you do a lot of stuff. You are a co-founder. It's a huge responsibility. I guess I like saw your LinkedIn profile, and I think you also have done many internships, and I guess you're doing some internship right now. In this whole process, how do you deal with stress and like major challenges?
Stress is in my genes. I take it all the time, so it has normalized for me. So, but okay. On a serious note, I love working, so I like to always keep myself very busy. Because if I'm not working in a day, I would feel unproductive. That's just
Okay.
how I have been from a while. Right after graduated from high school, I
Mm-hmm.
have been into writing, as I mentioned previously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I started looking for something light, because considering content writing is something that I can put effort into, but
Okay.
then not like I need to research a lot or something. I have like prevalent skills in it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And initially I got into just to get more exposure and also to keep myself busy while build on my resume as well. I definitely did a few content writing internships, had a good time. I learned a lot. I got to know how, when you're writing, you are only thinking from one point of view, or maybe when you're reading something, you get another point of view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you're working with a team in one startup or anywhere, you get to know what they also have to offer, what they think about the same subject
Yes.
and topic.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think that helped me initially as well.
Mm-hmm.
uh Considering after that, again, the pandemic, I think, gave us a lot of time to build on our skills and everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
started looking for a few more internships, and I got in touch with the founder of this one startup that I worked for.
Okay.
And I worked there for 4 months. I was initially an intern for 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
but then they liked my work and they wanted to promote me. So I was
Mm-hmm.
promoted as the subhead of the department I was working in. It was related to growth, user acquisition, and
Mm-hmm.
marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I had like like a bit of experience in it, but then that professional experience, you know, helped me with a lot of things. I dealt with a lot of people there. I
Mm-hmm.
was dealing one on one with customers, with a lot of third parties.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helped me a lot. You should always know how to talk. Like, communication and pitching is very important, considering you have to do that everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're sitting for a job interview, you have to basically sell yourself. You're pitching. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's very important. That helps you like in the long run, it helps you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then after that, I was solely focusing on my own startup. Also, the second wave kind of wasn't the best for everyone. I think it was mentally and emotionally taxing for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so that was the time I wasn't working on anything else other than my own startup. But
Mm-hmm.
then after that, I realized that along with things, after things settled down, that I could apply for a few internships maybe and keep myself busy again, because I started feeling unproductive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the whole cycle, and I think that helps you learn more. Like, even every day before I joined for this, I was working on something. My head
Mm-hmm.
pointed out that, hey, this doesn't look so great, and I asked for
Mm-hmm.
her in what does she have to offer, or what does she have to say about it. So she told me to do it this way or the other way. Now
Mm-hmm.
I know, okay, there's another way to look at it, there's another way to solve this problem. So I think every day you're learning. Whenever you're working with new people, people see internship only as something that they can add to their resume. But I think
Mm-hmm.
even as a
Yeah.
person, you learn a lot. You talk to a lot of people. Like, again, you're
Mm-hmm.
networking even when you're interning,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
So that's that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Fascinating. Now an outro question. Like, what were your learnings till now? Like, how did startup help you in your personal development? I guess you mentioned a few points earlier.
Okay. I think I have always been that one person who would want something and probably get it most of the times. So I hadn't dealt with even small failures a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
While
Okay.
working on my own startup coverage, I think I have learned how to deal with failures much better. And I don't think I would have learned it this way in any other aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these daily failures when I want to get this one thing done, but I can't due to some XYZ reason. That's one thing. I had always been good at leadership, but then when you have to handle a team of 25 people, coordinate
Mm-hmm.
different departments, also talk to
Mm-hmm.
the core team, also be in touch with the co-founder, and also want to develop more structure, more programs,
Mm-hmm.
talk to the students yourself to know how things are working. So you have some feedback firsthand, which you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of that isn't the easiest that it looked like initially.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely learned how to coordinate things much better. Time management seems like a very cliche term, but then I think I've learned that pretty well now. I mean, there's a
Mm-hmm.
long way to go even for me now, considering I'm not the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
But handling college, handling, maybe a few other things that I'm doing, let's say an internship, along
Mm-hmm.
with my own startup, it has taught me time management as well. Uh,
Wow. Okay.
Networking is the key. That's something networking we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things I think are the major aspects. But again, as I said, every day you learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wow. 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 Inspiring. Sanya, it's like very inspiring. And now, like, I will put up the LinkedIn links of your startup in the descriptions. Listeners, do check the amazing startup out. Sanya, could you give one
Sure.
last signing off note or one liner to the listeners?
Sure. So if you are looking forward to get into entrepreneurship, don't get fascinated by the term. Just know there are a lot of things attached to it. If you're someone who is about to start out, get in touch with the right people who can help you. Because otherwise, the thing you'll do in 1 month, you'll end up doing it in 6 months. Again, if you want to grow, you want to do that. You want to scale up a little quicker than that. If you're a student who is like, worried about how to handle things, oh, I'm not able to intern, I'm not able to do this, calm down. First, your mental health. Once that's into place, then pick up things one on one. Always take up things which you can handle. Even there was a time when I took up a lot. The one internship that I was talking about, I did last year. That is my first professional experience in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It got a lot for me at one point, due to which I had to reject the offer of the promotion that they offered me, because I knew I wouldn't be able to contribute as much.
Mm-hmm.
So even if that's an amazing offer, and if you think you can't handle it, don't take it. Whatever that you're doing along with college, please don't let academics be. Academics do play an important role. Uh, and I think these would be the basic things. And if you're a high school student, if you're worried, it's okay to be worried. You're still 17, 18. You have a lot of time to figure things out, but just get some professional help from career counselors, and just get some career guidance. And I think that will help you a lot. And I mean, Kavach is here anyway for you. So that's that.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Sanya, and joining in with us and sharing your wonderful experiences and insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure coming here, talking about my own personal things, startup, and whatever that I've learned all this way. Thank you so much for having me.